Greetings, everyone. This is your boy, Sam Oram, with another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. Hey, guys, I know I say this every week, but I am so super excited about sharing with you today our guests, some information and knowledge that I know is going to truly change your life. You're going to be blown away. We say this every week because we're continually elevating the quality of our guests, the experiences, the knowledge. And as we always talk about with the Deep Dive Podcast, it's not just about entertainment, but we're here to empower you as well. And today's guest is no different. So we're excited to hear from our special guest today. But before we get started, I always like to make sure that everybody, follow and support the Deep Dive Podcast. We're on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google, TuneIn. So everywhere you get your podcast, we are available there. Obviously, you want to follow us on the Deep Dive Podcast.live website. And of course, we're live here on One Voice Radio. So we're everywhere because we really want to spread this message of empowerment and entertainment all over the world to all of our Deep Dive Podcast listeners. But guys, look, I know you didn't tune in to hear from me tonight. You want to hear from our extraordinary guest. And this is a guy that I have so much respect for. I've followed his career for many years, and he has done some incredible things, a lot of which he'll share with you. But I did want to let you know that, like we talked about in our promotion, he is an actor extraordinaire. He's been featured in so many different television and film programs that his credits, is very, very lengthy. We can't get into everything that he's done, but just to let you know, some of you guys, I'm sure you're familiar with these shows like The Blacklist. I love The Blacklist. Get it a chance to know that this guy was a part of that particular cast. Shades of Blue, Greenleaf. I hate it's off the air, but Greenleaf was one of my shows. House of Cards. So he's been in so many different things, and I'm sure that he'll share with you some of his experiences in terms of being an actor. But something else that I love about this guy is not just his profession as an actor. He is also an entrepreneur extraordinaire. He has done some incredible things in business. He has created industries in the field of empowerment and entrepreneurship, some other things that he'll be able to share with you. I could go on and on and on about him, but I just want you to know that this person that you're about to hear from is absolutely incredible. He's originally from Miami, Florida, but now he hails in the big city of New York. So, he's going to bring it. He's going to really empower you. So make sure that you have pen and paper, take some notes, go back and listen to this podcast over and over, because I know for a fact he's going to drop some jewels. Okay. So without any further ado, I don't want to hold him from you any longer. Let me introduce to the Deep Dive Podcast audience none other than entrepreneur and actor extraordinaire, Mr. Samuel Smith. How you doing, my brother?
I am doing well. I got to bring you on a roll with me. You need to do all of my intros. Wherever I go, you need to do all of my intros. That was excellent. Before we get started, I do want to say I've had the pleasure of sitting under you for years. I met you when I was back at Alabama State, and I got a chance to, just understand business in a way that I didn't before, because you kind of took me and a few of my friends under your wing to show us how it could be done. And for that, I will eternally be grateful to you, Mr. Sam Arnold.
It's my pleasure, man. I know that when we met, many years ago, it was a situation where you were just bright-eyed and just ready to top of the world, just looking to be empowered. You've always been one of those guys that's like, hey, look, you're going to tell me what I need to know, or I'm going to bug you until you do. And,
Absolutely.
But I really can appreciate that passion for success. And I really can tell that, you've taken a lot of the principles that we talked about over the years and just applied them to your career. I've had an opportunity to see you not only act in terms of, television and things of that nature, but I know you've done stage plays and so many other things. Just kind of share with the audience a little bit about what your career has been like, to this particular point. I know you still have astronomical goals that you're going to achieve, but how did you even get to this point in terms of your career?
Okay, so cool. I as a kid, as a young man growing up in Miami, my mom, who grew up very shy, wanted to make sure that her children did. So she started standing us up in front of the church when we were quite young, saying like speeches and Easter speeches and that sort of thing, reading Bible verses. And that turned into, while in school, elementary school, oratorical contests. And then we got a chance to audition for the magnet programs at the school, and my sister and I both got in. So acting just became a part of what we were doing. Then, we went out on our first commercial audition, and being on set, I got bit by the bug. And
Okay.
while I was on set, I just enjoyed the camera, being in front of the camera. I enjoyed how we were catered to as actors and artists. And I remember telling my mom, I remember telling her like, yo, I'm gonna do this forever. And she was like, okay, baby, you can do whatever you want, which is always what parents tell their children. But I took that all the way, like, all right, so cool. If I can do whatever I want, this is what I'm going to do. So I went to Alabama State, got my degree in theater arts there. Then I went to Brandeis University, got a master's degree in theater arts there, and then moved to New York to make this thing happen. I had the opportunity to work on stage here in the city, which, a lot of people never got the opportunity to do. So I'm really grateful for that. And I've gotten a chance to be on some really great shows while I was here in New York City, not only in New York, but in Atlanta as well. You mentioned Greenleaf, and I also did like Sleepy Hollow and a few other shows there in the South. But now where I'm starting to transition is I want to produce more work. The people that look like us, like great stories.
Right.
That just happen to be told by Black people.
Right.
That's honestly where I'm moving toward. So I'm getting ready to produce a project that I'm going to star in June, actually. And that's where my passion lies. For a long time, you continue to try to fit inside of a box, and you hope that someone will pick you because you've made yourself conform to a box that people have. And I've just decided that I'm going to be me, and I'm going to show you what I do and how well I do what I do, so that you can now see me and say, oh, wow, all right, so I want you to do more of that, but for me.
That's right.
And if you don't give me the opportunity to do it for you, I can still do it for myself. I think the growth that will force any artist to do is immense. When you can decide that you're going to show the world what you can do by producing it, putting your own money up, leveraging your own friendships, doing all the things that you need to do in order to make it happen, success is sweeter.
Right.
It's sweeter because you got a chance to do it on your own terms. So that's where I'm moving toward now.
Yeah, I like that, man. I really like that approach, especially when you're talking about, being a producer. As you know, I'm a big proponent of ownership. And for all of our listeners, regardless of what you're doing, how you're going to approach it, you want to become, you guys have heard me say this before, but you want to become the masters of your fate and the captains of your soul. You want to be the ones to control, your future. You can create your future. We're talking about you being able to sign your own paycheck. So when you talk about, being a producer or having EP credits or whatever it may be, that's going to be very important for all of us who are, aspiring to do anything in business, whether it's in the acting arena or, just traditional entrepreneurship. It is always important for, ownership is absolutely the key. I mean, I applaud you for that, man. So, but when looking at it, I know you said you started out in the commercial arena. I mean, how was it starting out? And the reason I wanted to kind of pinpoint that a little bit, because there are a lot of people who tune into this particular podcast because they want to be like a Sam Smith. You know, they want to have an acting career, or want to have an entrepreneurial background. And so kind of give us a little bit of the, you know, the good and the bad in terms of getting into this arena at the highest level, which you are.
You know, some people hate when I say this, but I honestly feel I'm too stupid to fail. Right.
Okay.
And sometimes, like, we don't get the things that we want because we're too smart. You know that it's not going to happen because of this. It's not possible because of that. And when for myself, when I let go of all of those things and just be like, well, that's what I want to do, so I'm just going to go after it. I'm going to try it.
Right.
You know, things kind of fall into place in ways that people sit back and be like, well, you can't do it again. It won't happen again. And you just constantly go over those things and make it happen again. And people they label you like, you're just lucky. You're just a lucky person.
Right.
And that's not it at all. When I was a kid, I saw a young man about my same age on TV. It was he came on every weekday in between like the cartoons that would come on. And I used to be like, yo, I want to do that.
Right.
And my mom heard me. You know, I said it enough that she heard me. And the first thing she did was she went and put my sister and I in acting classes.
Okay.
She made sure that we were taking outside acting classes. So we did things in school, but in order to be great at something, you can't get the same thing that everyone else is getting. You know, so if I wanted to be the best athlete possible, I can't do that if I only practice with the coaches and the team. I have to do work on my own. And a lot of times I have a private coach outside of what we're doing with the team. So my mom went and got me a private acting coach. And my sister and I, we kind of went through that process. And then she went and found us an agent. As soon as we got our first agent, I think maybe not even a month later, I got my first commercial.
Really?
When I got that first commercial, it was a Coca-Cola commercial. The campaign was Coca-Cola across the world. I was actually acting as if I was a young African guy from, you know, Africa, and how Coca-Cola was all over the world.
Right.
So we were there, and it just, like I said before, it was magical, you know, and I tell this to people sometimes, but the thing that really got me hooked into the whole industry was craft services. Now, for people who don't know what craft services are, it's, you know, the food, how they bring the food in, how they prepare it or whatever. Right. I remember the morning that I got to set, it was really, really early, and Burger King wasn't opening like super early at that time. And they had just come out with like the croissant sandwiches.
Okay.
And I was upset that we got the set before Burger King opened, because my mom had kind of promised me that I can have that sandwich. So we pulled up to set. They got us out and got ready for hair and makeup, but we had to go over to, you know, get breakfast. And the guy asked, you know, what do you want? And, you know, very begrudgingly, I was like, a croissant with a sausage, and eggs and cheese, because that's what I would have got at Burger King.
Yeah.
And he said, do you want any butter or jelly or anything on that?
Right.
And my eyes lit up, because it was like, yo, you have that?
Yeah.
And, you know, he brought it out, and I ate that. And then throughout the day, like, there was just all this candy and all of these sweets that my mom just would not allow us to have at home. And I was like, yo, I can't wait till I do my next commercial so I can get a lot more sweets.
That's
and I can get a lot more of the things here at Craft Services. And, you know, I got bit by that bug. But to go back to how I got started in commercials. You know, you just need a chip on the board. You just need an entry point. And if you can get in whatever way you can get in, you have an opportunity to start to do bigger things, bigger and better things. You just need a way to actually get into the game. So commercials for me was that way into the game, because after your agent start submitting you for a few commercials, you know, then they'll start submitting you for lines and lines in TV shows, and then lines in movies. And before you know it, you're starting a career but you need an entry point. And for me, commercials was that entry point.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful, man. And you know, obviously for everybody that's listening, you know, you'll be able to see the progression, follow the progression of, you know, how Sam's career is taken off from the commercials all the way through, you know, being featured in television and movies and things of that nature. Something else that really impressed me about you and what you're doing, and I say this humbly, but I mean, you have really done an incredible job in terms of taking information that you have, you know, obtained over the years, and then just really putting your brand, your style of success on that information. For example, I know for a fact that, you know, you've empowered so many students, even through a nonprofit, you know, environment, and you're part now of, you know, My Brother's Keeper. That is a powerful, powerful organization. For those of you who may not be familiar with it, I'll let Sam share with you his experience with it, because that's something that I've also looked at over the years. And I'm telling you this, you know, just kind of share with everybody what it means to be a part of, you know, My Brother's Keeper. In fact, what is that?
All right. So when President Obama was in his last term
Mhm.
of the presidency, he came up with an organization that can help young Black and brown young men strive to have more and to be mentored by men in the community.
Mhm.
So my superintendent, Dr. Thomas McBride, was one of the men that, you know, was asked to help empower young men. And he brought it back to the district. And when he brought it back to the district, it was something that I was already doing, because I have my own nonprofit, Bridge Builder Camp.
Right.
And so I was already kind of doing this work, but My Brother Keeper with him in District 19 allowed me to reach more young men and more adults over a quicker span, which is when you're really trying to be of service to people, getting in front of as many people as possible is what you need to do.
Right.
So started working with Dr. McBride on My Brother's Keeper, and you know, we help facilitate almost over 400 young men every month.
Wow.
And before the pandemic, we would all get together like once a month. So imagine 400 young men who will be pushed and packed into an auditorium inside of a school, sometimes very hot, never had one fight, never had one young man get upset and start yelling, screaming, you know, just a bunch of men in this organization that was truly there to help guide our youth into their adulthood.
Right.
And we deal with these young men and all of their issues and all of their problems. And it feels good because you get a chance to impart the things that you were blessed with, the things that you learned to them in order for them to like skip some of the steps that you had to take. You know, there's so many things that I wish I knew when I was younger. I wish my father was around to kind of like help give me, but I didn't. And for these young men, I get a chance to be that big brother for a lot of these young men so that they don't have to take a lot of the pitfalls, or they don't have to make these bad decisions.
Right.
Not that they're bad, you know, young men, but they don't have to make decisions that will take them off of their path for a long period of time before they find their way back. You know, I mean, every club must stand on its own feet, but when you're in a position that allows you to help in this way, I think that is something that we all need to do, because if the world is going to be better, it starts with each one of us helping someone else. We have to be in service. And I've always been an advocate of that. And this program really allows me to do that.
Man, that is incredible. Yeah, I remember when President Obama was implementing My Brother's Keeper, and just all of the buzz that was going on around that particular at that particular time. And you know, I said to myself, a lot of times, you know, Black and brown men and women, they just need an opportunity to thrive. One thing that I
Absolutely.
do know that, given an opportunity, given a level playing field, we can do some incredible things. We've been able to do that, even, looking out the statistics on with the One Voice Radio, and we're, over 44 countries right now that's listening in. And so when you start to think about that, how, the message that we're sharing with people of all colors, all ages, all religions, all ethnicities, everything all over the world, it is because we have been given knowledge and information, but also given a platform. You're in the acting arena, you're in the entrepreneurial arena, and whatever else that we're doing, given a platform to go out and really empower people from a different space, if you will. And I think
Right.
for a lot of our listeners, this is something that, it's encouraging to them to hear you say that, you have mentored people, through their success. Some of the things that we're going to talk about shortly in terms of what you've been able to do and how you've been able to help people through empowerment, through their goal setting, and just getting motivated to do great things. All we need is
Absolutely.
that opportunity. But I will challenge all of our listeners, regardless of where you are throughout the world. You do have to take action. You do have to take that step. It's one thing to have your goals. We talked about this last week on the episode, talking about identifying your purpose and some other things. But then you truly have to be in a situation to take some serious action, like Sam Smith has done it, and put that action to work and have that relentless desire to win. You said it in passing a few minutes ago, but I caught it. You just got that relentless desire to win. You're not going to quit. You're not going to give up. We call it ignorance on fire. Whether you know what you're doing or not, you're going to make it happen. And that's what I'm talking about. I get
Absolutely.
excited about that. I know we talked about a little bit. I wanted you to share with everybody about your Got Goals program. And the reason I think this is important. I know we've talked about it in the past and during our promotion for this particular podcast, just putting that out there. So many people were like, or what's Got Goals? What does that mean? How can, that help me? And I just tell people, look, just tune in to the podcast, make sure that you listen to the podcast and hear from the master himself in terms of what Got Goals mean, but then also how that can apply to you. So we have an open floor right now for everybody to find out what has Got Goals and how can it benefit them.
All right, here we go. So everyone should be able to come up with a list of things that they want to accomplish, your
Okay.
goals, right? And if you can take your goals, write them down, now you have a roadmap to what it is that you want to do. So you ask yourself, do I have goals?
Mm-hmm.
After you've identified those goals, and I have a whole system. The Got Goals is a part of this system I call the Stay Ready plan, right?
Okay.
And with the Stay Ready plan, first you write down 5 things that you'll do every day without fail. So if my goal is to become a better actor, something that I need to do every day is maybe read scripts or work out my body or my voice, so that when I get the opportunity to audition for something, that I'm always ready. But you pick 5 things that you'll do every day without fail. I remember when I first started the program for myself, and I had to be my own test subject. I made sure that I did voice work for about 30 minutes. I made sure that I worked out for about 30 minutes. I made sure that I meditated for 30 minutes. Mental health is so important.
Right.
Please don't estimate how important just clearing your mind can be. It's honestly a reset for the mind and the body.
Mm-hmm.
I made sure that I stretched for 30 minutes.
Okay.
Now, people are breaking limbs and bones and stuff all the time. They're pulling muscles because they're not stretched enough,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got to make sure that you also stretch. I think the last thing that I did was like maybe playing the guitar, right? So I
Okay.
picked these 5 things, and I had this thing of you got to pay yourself first.
Right.
So I would wake up in the morning. At that time, I was getting up, I think around 6 o'clock. So I would do each one of those things for 30 minutes, which gave me about 2.5 hours. So from 6 to 8:30, I would do all of these things. And then I had the rest of the day to do whatever it is that I wanted to do because I had already paid myself first.
Mm.
Right? Now, when you have a goal, you just plug whatever your goal is into that thing. Now, the real key to this program is your accountability partner.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but a lot of times we'll give up on ourselves.
That's right.
Right? If no one else is holding us accountable for things, we'll give up. Oh, I'm gonna lose weight this year, right? But you don't tell anyone, and because you don't tell anyone, when you start to say, "I'll get to it tomorrow," or "I'll work out next week," or "I'll start," whatever, you may never start, or you'll start and quit, and no one would ever be the wiser.
That's
But
right.
when there's someone that you have to call every day to let them know exactly what it is that you're doing for that day, and you got to call them back at the end of the day to say, "I did complete this stuff," or they'll call you to make sure that you completed it.
That's right.
It makes you not want to give up on that person. It makes you want to stay accountable for yourself because you know there's someone else that's looking at what it is that you're doing and depending on you to make sure that you have that thing for yourself. And sometimes if that partner is also in this stay ready plan, your got goals plan, you can have that person do the same thing. So you all are checking on each other. But accountability helps so much in terms of the process of getting things done.
Right.
So that would be the plan. And you just check off the things. Like I've literally, I remember writing my first full-length script.
Okay.
Because every morning for 30 minutes, I would write on this, I write on this plate. I would write on this plate every morning for 30 minutes. And, it seems like a long time. You're like, the next 90 days, I'm going to change my habits and I'm going to create new habits or whatever. But I think I ended up writing the full script maybe in 120 days. But I had the idea for the script
right
for 5 years.
Okay.
So you have 5 years in 120 days.
Right.
Right. So I was able to put on paper and complete this thing that I was thinking about, but never got around to it because, I'll get to it. Or if I don't have like an hour to work at it or whatever, I'll just do it another time. No, 30 minutes a day. If you take 30 minutes a day to do the things on your goal list, you'll be surprised where you are at the end of 90 days, at the end of 120 days, at the end of a year. Right. I've built businesses with the same model. People be like, "Oh, you need to give everything that you have to a business." I agree. But when you have other things going on, putting time toward that business every day is necessary. You have to. So the Got Goals Stay Ready plan is what I did to kind of like build the life that I have right now. Even down to like learning lines. You have an audition, that audition isn't for a couple days, or I have a script that I have to learn, but the play isn't for another month, or the movie isn't for another month or so. I need to be looking at the script every day. I need to be going over this information every day, because if I'm not going over this information every day, I'm going to fall behind. And I need someone that will hold me accountable for the goals that I'm setting for myself. So there you go.
Man, that's deep. A couple of things that I told you guys he was gonna drop some jewels. I hope y'all writing this down. And if not, you better go back and listen to this podcast again so you can pick up on them. But I love the fact that you talking about staying ready, because if you stay ready, you don't ever have to get
ready.
I hear people all the time like, "I'm getting ready to do this. I'm getting ready to do this." And look, why don't you just maintain yourself and stay ready? You don't have to always talk about getting ready. Something else is interesting, Sam, hearing you, sharing this wisdom in terms of Got Goals and just wisdom in general. But there's a common denominator that I hear every week from all of our podcast guests, whether they're in other countries, male, female, business, just hanging out, talking. A couple of common denominators. One is accountability. That's very, very important. That accountability that you talked about, because we all suffer from, just sometimes getting a little complacent, procrastination, all of these things that will kind of keep us away from our goals. So, accountability is very important. But another common denominator that I hear all the time is just people talking about, consistency in terms of your habits.
Absolutely.
When you're talking about these 5 things that you must do every single day, it's not an option. These things that you must do, if you look at to go to a certain place, go to a certain level, then these are the things that you must do. I love that. I love that consistency about it. I love the fact that, you actually have to do something and force yourself to do something. And we
Absolutely.
both know this, but once you've done something 21 days consecutively, it becomes a part of you. Once you've done that something 90 days consecutively, you pretty much can't erase it. It is a
Absolutely.
part of you. So that consistency is important. It's something that I've been learning through the podcast, and I've heard you say it again today, and I've heard other guests say it, and the power of meditation, the power of
Yes.
that mental health.
Yes.
I've been one of those individuals who, and I've been honest in saying this, I've tried to meditate in the past, but every time I attempt to do it, I just fall asleep. I just fall asleep. I don't know if
Oh,
that's a good thing or a bad thing, but at the end of the day, it wasn't working for me. But one of these common denominators I'm hearing from all of our guests is the power of meditating. Some people say 5 minutes, some people say 30, some people say an hour, but whatever that is. But just real quick on the power of mental health and meditation. How do you think that impacted you, and why is it so important in terms of these 5 things that we must do?
oh my gosh. Meditation is everything.
Mm,
Like being able to clear your mind and focus on one thing at a time. Like being able to have a single focus is worth its weight in gold. I talk to people about mindfulness and meditation in this way. It's it's a reset button. You remember the old Nintendos, the
mhm.
first generation Nintendos,
Yep,
where there were 2 buttons on it. You had a power button, you had a reset button.
that's right.
When you fall off to sleep, think about that as your power button. When
Mm,
you meditate, think about that as your reset button. So all the things that's frustrated you throughout the day, the man that honked his horn at you when you was trying to get across the street,
right.
the relationships that you may have in your house that didn't go so well before you walked out, the fact that you have some things that you have to do today and you know that you didn't prepare the way that you were supposed to prepare for them, like all of that stuff.
Hmm.
Mindfulness and meditation, what it does is it allows you to not be in your past and not be in your present, but be totally connected to the present moment. And when you can totally connect to the present moment, nothing else matters. Now
Right.
you're honestly able to adjust in the moment because you're not worried about anything else. And there's a million different ways to meditate, right?
Hmm.
Say, for instance, you're sitting down and eating, and because we eat and we talk or we're eating on the go so often, we don't get a chance to honestly be mindful in the foods that we're eating. But if you allow yourself to really taste the spices and the ingredients of food, it becomes a different experience
Mm,
altogether. But we know things that we like, so we go back and we get the things that we like to eat, and we don't really enjoy them because we're in the middle of a conversation,
right.
or we're looking at our phones, or we're trying to get it. We know we like it, but we're going to get it on the go.
Hmm.
We just don't get the opportunity to honestly be in that moment with that food right then. you
Mm,
know Something else that mindfulness is really good for is just your mental health. When I talk about people not being in their past and not
hmm.
being in their future, what I'm speaking about very specifically is, I just lost my job. Oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to make this better? It takes you out of that, because when you're not thinking about what's to come or what's already happened, you're at peace, which allows you to think more clearly about the things that you need to do,
Right.
right?
Right.
And as far as you and your mindfulness and meditation, I would suggest learning to focus on the. All right, so where I think meditation can actually help you in just in far as the practice is concerned is don't try to go like 30 minutes at a time. I think if you start at maybe 30 seconds,
Mm,
just trying to clear your mind
okay.
for 30 seconds and just really focusing in on the breath, that can really help you out. And then slowly move that 30 seconds
Okay.
to 90 seconds and then to like 3 minutes and then 5 minutes, and but a lot of times, like when you first start to learn meditation, you will fall asleep. Like I fell asleep many times when I first started out
Well, that's good to
because
know.
yeah, you will definitely fall asleep when you first start because
Okay.
it's super relaxing. And
Right.
there's like a place where you can go over the point where you want to be and fall right off to sleep. So yeah,
Okay.
just start with shorter increments of time,
I like that, eating that elephant one bite at a time. So
one
yeah,
bite at a time. Absolutely.
that's good. That's good. Well, I tell you what, I know we've had an incredible podcast. I want to close out just with whatever vision that you have. I know that you're doing some great things moving forward. We're excited about. We want to be able to stay connected with you as well. So, what can you just share with us in terms of being able to stay with you, or just some future endeavors so that we can continue to support your career?
Well, first you can follow me on all social platforms at, actor Sam Smith. So all social platforms, actor Sam Smith,
Okay.
and one of the things that I'm very passionate about right now is the athletic brand that I recently created. It's called Better Than Perfect,
Okay.
and I'm gonna tell you how I came about this product. So a few years ago, my nephew was getting ready to start playing football competitively.
Okay.
And around that time, there was a lot of young men in Florida who were actually falling out and dying um, from just being overheated.
Hmm.
And I thought that there had to be something done because I didn't want that fate to, be something that happened to my nephew.
Right.
So I came across this fabric and I was like, this fabric will be super great for athletes just to give them one more layer between them and the sun, one more layer of defense.
Hmm.
And what happens with this cooling product is it keeps you dry and cool at the same time. And because it keeps you dry and cool, it's a product that really helps in allowing guys to know when they're getting to a point of being overheated, but
Hmm.
it really stops that process for them.
Okay.
um that's one product, and the product that we're really super proud of is a product that I call Recovery Fit.
Okay.
As an athlete, I know that getting rid of lactic acid buildup is the only thing that can help you start to get into recovery mode inside of the body. Your
Okay.
muscles can't start to recover after a hard workout until like that lactic acid buildup has subsided.
Right.
So the thing that gets rid of that the best is ice,
Hmm.
regular ice. So what I created was a product that allowed you to take a shirt,
Hmm.
you zip it down, you wet it, you wring it out a little bit, and you actually put it inside of the freezer. After it's become frozen, you take it out of the freezer and you can put it directly on the body. That will give you compression as well as ice cold uh, in that function of the shirt.
Right.
And what that does for you is it helps get rid of the lactic acid buildup right away so that your muscles can start to recover in a quicker time. So
Wow.
that product is called Recovery Fit. And I'm super proud of these products. And I think that these products are the products that we need in the marketplace to
Hmm.
help young athletes, young and old athletes alike, in order to help prevent injury and just be at their best while they're on the field or
Man,
the court.
That's incredible. Recovery fit and better than perfect, man. Creating products, and you're just doing everything, man. I'm so super proud of you, excited about what you have done, but even more excited, more passionate about your future. And I'm sure that all of our listeners were able to get some nuggets and information from you today. And we just want to, continue to follow you, continue to support you. Look for your products. Is there a website or Instagram or
Yes,
something that we can find the products?
you can find that at I Am Better Than Perfect. I named the website I Am Better Than Perfect
Okay,
because it's an affirmation.
that's
Anything
right.
you put I am behind, you become. So
That's
I
right.
want this product not only to be something that helps you physically, but I want it to be a mental affirmation to yourself every time you put it on. So
Okay.
the website again is iambetterthanperfect.com. And you can also find me on IG with that same hashtag, I am better than perfect, at I am better than perfect.
Awesome. I am better than perfect. I like that positive affirmation.
Absolutely.
I am the best podcaster in the world.
That's right. That's right.
Well, hey, look, man, I certainly appreciate you, just sharing so much wisdom with the Deep Dive Podcast audience. You are an incredible person, motivational speaker,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
actor, athlete, entrepreneur, creator, producer, everything. So we are so proud of you, what you're doing for so many people. Again, we're going to continue to follow you and support you wherever we can. We want to all say thank you, from the entire Deep Dive Podcast community. We thank you so very much. Is there any last thing you want to say before we get out of here?
Yes, one last thing, and I actually got this from you.
Okay.
I like to boast that you're my business mentor. Um, Take every idea that you have to product.
Mm,
Have a physical product, whether it's a script, whether it's an idea. Just take it to an actual product, because once it gets to a product, when you talk about it and someone wants to see it or deal with it right away, you have something to give them, to show them. But if you don't, they can move on just as fast as that conversation ended.
that's
So
right.
you want to make sure that anything you have in your mind, in the works, make it an actual physical product, so that when people ask about it, or when you start to tell people about it, that wonderful thing that you've created, you can
Hmm.
actually give them something. They have something that they can put inside of their hands. And with that bit of information, I've moved so much further than I think I possibly could in the industries, whether it's having the script ready when someone was like, yo, I want to shoot something, do you have anything? Yeah, I
Hmm.
do. I do have something we could shoot, you know or whether it's like the products that I've come up with, just having something, taking that idea to product, has been information and advice that's been invaluable. So for you, I thank you for that. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, my brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. Manifest that idea. Take
Absolutely.
imperfect action now. You don't have to
Right.
wait until it's perfect. You don't have to get all of the ducks in a row, because it ain't going to come. So
Right. Right.
just take imperfect action now. Thank you so much again, Sam. I
Thank you.
appreciate you for, being a guest and sharing so much wisdom to all of us. To all of you who are a part of the Deep Dive Podcast community, thank you again for tuning in. We're so excited for all of our listeners from around the world. Remember to continue to like, subscribe, share, and download. Go to the Deep Dive Podcast.live, support us, and we're going to continue to bring you empowerment and entertainment for the rest of the year and years to come. God bless each and every one of you, and I'll see you on the beaches of the world. Have a great day.
Have a great